how in the last episode I said about me watching a couple of brand new movies at the cinema this week and talk about it in this week's episode of the movie wrap up? Well, guess what? I was wrong. Instead, though, I have been watching a few movies at home. As a matter of fact, all the movies that I've watched this week have been at home. And, yeah, I'm here to talk about it. Most of them are movies that I haven't seen before. Two of them are movies that I have seen before. Hello there, Steve-Os. Welcome along to another episode of Steve's Movie Wrap-Up. So without further ado, let's go ahead, shall we, and start this week's episode off with our first review. You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap-Up, episode 17. The first movie that we will be reviewing this week is the movie Ants. So with Ants, I gave it 3 stars over on Letterboxd. I remember watching this as a child growing up, but I'll be honest here, I think I preferred A Bug's Life from Disney Pixar more than I preferred this. And funny I should mention that movie actually, because both A Bug's Life and the DreamWorks movie Ants came out in both the same year, in 1998. Anyways, the movie did have a stat casting back then, when the movie came out, when you have the likes of Jennifer Lopez, Jim Cummings, you know, the guy who voices Winnie the Pooh, and you also have Sharon Stone, Sylvester Stallone, and Woody Allen, all lending their voices in this animated movie for DreamWorks. This film is also DreamWorks' first animated movie, and what's funny about this movie is, of course, this caused a lot of backlash from DreamWorks and Disney, because 1 month later, after Ants came out in 1998, there was the release of A Bug's Life. If you search for DreamWorks and Disney feud under Google, then you can read the full feud between both animated companies. It's a very interesting one. Let me put it to you now. Anyways, the main character of the film is voiced by Woody Allen, and the character is called Zed. Why did they just call an ant Zed, I hear you ask? I have no idea. But hey, this film came out in the 90s, okay? Also, I will say that because this film came out in the 90s, I will say that the animation in this makes it look like it was made to be played on a PS1 console. I should also say, speaking of video games, that this movie actually did get some video games out of it as well back in the 90s and early 2000s, which includes the video games titled Ants and Ants Racing, which released on the Game Boy Color, and then you have got the sequel of the racing game on the Game Boy Color called Ants Extreme Racing, which came out on the Game Boy Advance, PS2 and the original Xbox console. I don't remember playing the Extreme Racing game on the PS2 back in the day. I will also say that this did have a sequel planned, but as DreamWorks decided to merge their direct-to-video unit with the feature animation, the sequel was still planned to go ahead. However, the project eventually got cancelled, but does make me wonder what would they have done with a sequel if it did get made. Anyways, can we also appreciate the movie for 2 other things? Firstly, the music in this, in terms of the music score that's composed in this movie, is brilliant, and I enjoy it. And secondly, can we also appreciate that this movie doesn't outstay its welcome either. It's about a 1 hour and 20 minute long movie, which isn't bad for DreamWorks' first animated movie. Anyways, it felt rather nostalgic of me to go back and revisit a movie I remember watching as a child growing up, and one that I will definitely watch again at some point in the future. Can I just say, right, I remember the opening song to this movie Ants, and it goes something like da 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 da. Anyway, I could go on, but I'm not going to, because we've got loads more movies to review. So there we go. That is my review of Ants. Butcher's Crossing. Butcher's Crossing I gave 2.5 stars over on Letterboxd. I'm not usually the kind of guy who would sit down and watch a Western genre movie. For me, I just don't like Westerns, and I don't think that opinion will ever change anytime soon. However, though, I did want to check out Butcher's Crossing because the movie does star Nicolas Cage, and that's about the only actor who I recognise in this film. And following some of his recent work from movies like Dream Scenario and Sympathy of the Devil, I wanted to check out his acting in this movie. Now, while I will say that his performance in this is good along with the rest of the supporting cast members in this film, I will also say that this film actually doesn't outstay its welcome neither. The film has a running time of around 1 hour and 45 minutes, and even the music composed for this movie was done in a rather beautiful way as well, which I think fits the movie perfectly. I can't end this review without discussing the stunning sceneries that we see in this movie. Even if, like me, you're not a huge fan of a Western genre movie, at least give this one a go for the acting performances and the stunning sceneries in this, because the views in this are really stunning and great too. Butcher's Crossing is available to watch on Amazon Prime Video in the UK.
The Kill Room.
The Kill Room I gave 2 stars over on Letterboxd. This wasn't the best movie I've seen that features the likes of Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman and Maya Hawke. I feel as though their performances in this were pretty much the only good thing about the movie. However, though, for me, did I find this to be a funny comedy movie? No, I didn't. Did I enjoy the action sequences in this? No, I didn't. And want to know exactly why? Well, because there are hardly any action sequences in this movie. Given the fact that this movie is called The Kill Room, and we have seen 1 or 2 main leads in some action movies in the past, you would have thought we would have seen some rather good action sequences in this, but sadly we didn't. I was looking forward to watching this, but sadly this didn't take off as good as I was anticipating it to be. The running time for this movie is roughly around 1 hour and 40 minutes, and the music scoring for this movie was also pretty decent. But sadly though, aside from this, the acting and the music scoring, that's the only positives to come out of this movie. If you're wondering where you can stream the movie The Kill Room here in the UK, it is available to stream on Amazon Prime Video.
Mafia Mama.
Mafia Mama I gave 1.5 star over on Letterboxd. I gave Mafia Mama a chance after it being on my watch list for quite some time, both on Letterboxd and on Amazon Prime Video as well. And to be honest with you, there was times where it was fun, like fun in a campy kind of way, but then there was moments in the movie that I found this to be rather cringy to watch at times. While the only person that I recognised in this was Toni Collette, the woman who, you know, starred in that horror movie Hereditary, who played the mother, and I believe she also starred in this Amazon original series in early 2023 titled The Power as well. But aside from that, I didn't recognise any of the other actors or actresses from previous projects, but I did think that Toni Collette was pretty decent in this movie. The music scoring in this movie sounds like something you would find rather cheesy kind of comedy, and I don't know whether that's the vibe that this movie was going for. I'm not too sure really, but at times I would say that the music composed for this movie did work in some scenes, but in others though it was just too cheesy or too cringy. The film has a running time of 1 hour and 40 minutes, which I felt as though could have been a little bit shorter. Maybe if they got rid of the more cringier moments, sure, it would have shaved down about 10 or 15 minutes of the film. But aside from that though, if you enjoy fun and campy movies, then you might have an enjoyable time watching this one. Mafia Mama is a movie which is available to stream in the UK on streaming service Amazon Prime Video if you want to check this one out for yourself.
Foe.
I gave Foe 1.5 star over on Letterboxd. I really wanted to say that I enjoyed this movie, but sadly I didn't, and I was really looking forward to watching this one as well. It's been a movie that I have actually wanted to watch for a while, but sadly haven't had the time to watch it until recently. So the movie stars Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal, two main leads who I have seen in some of the previous work, and they have been standouts in their previous work. But sadly for me, this wasn't their standout performances. In fact, even both Saoirse and Paul couldn't save this movie, sadly. The movie itself felt too long. It was rather dark in a lot of the scenes, so like you couldn't really see what was going on. So yeah, it was too difficult for me to see exactly what was going on in the film. Now, despite the fact that I watched this on my tablet, but even if I decided to watch this on, say, my iMac or my TV, I feel as though it still wouldn't have helped me to enjoy watching those really dark scenes on those devices, because I still wouldn't have known exactly what was going on unless I maybe watched it in a really, really dark room. I mean, I do know that this film came out in the cinemas, and maybe it would have been much better to watch it in the cinema when it was first released in the cinema last year, but hey, I watched it on Amazon Prime, okay? So the story itself was too long, as I say, and the movie is very dialogue driven. So if you're here for some action, sadly you're going to be left rather disappointed, because there really isn't any. Like I said at the start of this review, I really wanted to enjoy this movie, and the first half an hour of it left me intrigued to see what happens next, but the movie just fell flat after that, really. But if you do want to check out this movie for yourself, it's available to stream on Amazon Prime Video here in the UK.
Role play.
I gave Roleplay 2 stars over on Letterboxd. This movie was one of the first movies to be released in 2024, and I have only just been able to check this one out, as I had this on my watch list on Amazon Prime Video for a while, so thought I would check this one out. It's got the actress who plays Penny in the TV series The Big Bang Theory, Kaylee Cuoco, and I must say that this was a somewhat decent movie. I will be honest, it is an unrealistic storyline, but at times it can be violent, which when the action sequences do kick in, I think they're a great watch and fun to watch as well. The acting in this isn't too bad, although the film does also star Bill Nighy, but I feel as though his character didn't have enough screen time. So if there was more screen time for his character, then who knows, maybe the movie would have had a higher rating from me. The movie is available to stream on Amazon Prime Video if you'd like to check this one out for yourselves.
Freelance.
Freelance, I gave 1.5 star over on Letterboxd. This wasn't a great action comedy movie. Well, would you even call this one a comedy? For me, it didn't seem funny, and even if it was trying to be funny, it was trying too hard. To the point, you know, they were trying to be funny, which made the film even less unfunny. So John Cena and Alison Brie star in the movie, and even though their acting seemed to be okay in this, but for me though, I just couldn't really connect with their characters for the entirety of the film. It just felt like they just didn't really have any on-screen chemistry. I will say though, the action sequences, yeah, they were terrible as well. They just seem to be rather boring and doesn't really do anything different that you haven't seen in action movies before. There really isn't any positives that I can sadly give to this movie. However though, if you do want to stream this movie in the UK, then it is available to watch through Amazon Prime Video.
Puppy Love.
And the final movie that I watched this week was actually a rewatch, and it was a movie that I first watched back in 2023, titled Puppy Love, and of course I kept it the same star rating as I did when I first reviewed this back in 2023, which is 4.5 stars. I'm going to be honest with you, right? It's very embarrassing, firstly, to say that there's a movie that I have watched on Letterboxd, which came out back in 2023, and this is actually my first highest rating movie of the year so far. You know, I mean, we're literally at the beginning of March as I'm filming this, March 2024, and the fact that Puppy Love, a movie that came out back in 2023, has got the first highest rating on Letterboxd to start 2024 off, I mean, that's embarrassing. I mean, come on, we're 3 months into the year. There should be already a film out there that should have a really high rating from me. You know, and so far, a lot of the movies that I've watched that have come out recently, regardless whether it's on Amazon or Netflix or Disney Plus or wherever, has just had really low ratings. So what's going on? You know, I just hope and pray that as the year goes on, we get better and better movies, you know, until we get to December, of course. So anyway, Puppy Love is one of my favourite rom-coms to come out of 2023 recently. And it became available on Amazon Prime Video, and I decided to give this one another watch again. I loved this movie the first time around watching it, and I enjoyed watching it the second time viewing this as well. Safe to say, this was a great movie that stars Lucy Hale, and the best thing about this movie plot, it features dogs. Adorable dogs. That's enough about this movie, right? So the movie is now available to stream in the UK on Amazon Prime Video. If you're interested in checking this one out, I definitely recommend giving this one a watch for sure. And that is all I've got time for this episode of Steve's Movie Wrap Up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm not going to lie, I am going to be heading off soon, and I'm going to do a rewatch of the movie Dune. Part 1, because Dune Part 2 came out in cinemas this week, and I do want to try and give that one a watch before my next episode of the movie wrap-up comes out. And fingers crossed, right? I've heard really positive things about Dune Part 2, so maybe Dune Part 2 might be my second highest rating movie on Letterboxd in 2024. Who knows? Find out in the next episode of Steve's Movie Wrap Up. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give that thumbs up button a like. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. What movies have you been watching this past week, regardless whether it's on streaming services or even in your local cinema? Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you are new and you like what you see around here, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Steve-O. Your next YouTube video will be out on Monday the 4th of March at 4 PM UK time, when it's my weekly vlog. But until then though, it's goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again in my next YouTube video.